And welcome into the Dickey Electirc Scoreboard. I'm Mike Ackelson. Quinn Pushkar here with me right now. And week 10 in the books. A lot of teams setting up themselves to make a postseason run. Fastest 10 weeks of the year. Hard to believe. Just seems like we were starting week 1 just a week ago, Quinn.
Yeah, you said it. It was quick.
But it's crazy how it all washes out. We'll give you some of the projected playoff teams because it's not official until Sunday. So we got to phrase it that way. It's not official until it's released by the Ohio High School Athletic Association. But we can give you a pretty good hint who's in and who is out and who's going to get some home games, likely. All signs point to that, but we can do all that. But first, let's run down the scores for you. I know Big Game Ty is going to call in. I already put out the bat signal, and Michael McKenzie, I know you're listening. You better call in after that comeback by Beaver Local tonight. We'll start it. Canfield, no problem with Boardman at home tonight. Cardinals take that one 35-6. They finish the season 8-1. Brookfield, a winner over Champion tonight, 42-7. Their only blemish this season is week 1 to the Ursuline Irish. Cheney, they go 9-1. They shut out Youngstown East 34-0. Their only blemish came against Ursuline. So you look at it that way. Lakeside falls to Edgewood 32-28, about a yard shy on the final play of the game. Jefferson goes up to Lakeview, or comes down to Lakeview, gets a win 27-7. LeBray picks up their first win of the year. I know two guys who picked that game right. Quinn and I, we called it. 34-8 the final from there. And it is Lindsley, West Virginia beating Louisville tonight, 45-19. Columbiana beats Lisbon, 27-6. Middle Ridge over Waterloo, 28-20. Crestview blanks Newton Falls, 20-0. Girard in a great one. You want to talk a rivalry game? When they play now, throw out the records, anything, and it was billed, and it lived up to it tonight. 35-33, the Indians win that one at Arrowhead Stadium. Wyndham beats North Baltimore 39-8. Struthers all over Poland 35-7. Springfield Locals 6 straight wins as they blank Sebring 55-0. South Range 30 consecutive regular season wins. They finished the year perfect 28-0 as they blank Hubbard. Warren JFK all over Southeast 50-0. The Eagles finish the season with just one loss, and it came to Mogador. Southern shuts out United 14-0. Ursuline, they beat their arch rival Cardinal Mooney 13-7. That was a great ball game. Fitch all over Harding 59-28. They only have one loss this season. East Liverpool falls to Weirton by the final of 27-7. Wellsville beats Latonia 46-8. Lowville 34-7 over Western Reserve. First time since 2002 they have been perfect. 10-0 for Vinny Balone and company. They looked really good tonight after they got going in the second quarter. Beaver Local, as I said, big comeback in the fourth quarter to win 49-35. Garfield over Liberty 56-7. Jackson Milton beats McDonald 20-7. Edison, perfect on the season, 28-7 over Indian Creek. Kirtland shuts out Orange 42-0. Pie Valley over Matthews 24-14. And University School beat Howland 28-6. So there's all the scores as we run them down for you. Around 10:30, we're going to start our little playoff projection for you. And, we'll kind of hit that for you. But I know Ty Bartell, I sent out the bat signal early for him. His Falcons, he's seen almost every game that they've played this season. They come away with the big win. Quinn, we're going to bring Ty in. I'm sure he's sitting at a drive-thru or somewhere, but he's got probably lots of good stuff to tell us from the Falcons tonight. Welcome aboard, Ty.
How we doing, Mike?
I'm good. How about those Falcons? Look pretty good against the Raiders tonight.
They definitely did. And you know what? Despite a lot of the injuries, too, Brian Robinson having to deal with some ailing injuries, Jamel James got back into the rotation after dealing with injuries. Honestly, the biggest question was losing Deshaun Bond last week to a broken ankle. What Cam Smith would be like stepping into that role. and it just seems like they don't miss a beat on offense. 59 points against a very athletic Raiders team.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the way they're playing heading into the postseason. Now, you and I can talk about this. This is all tentative. It's not official until Sunday, but it looks like definite home game for the Falcons, and it looks like Garfield Heights might be making a visit down to Fitch.
That's going to be the biggest thing. And more importantly, if Fitch can get themselves situated in that top 4 to be able to host 2. Now, obviously, you don't want to look ahead past next week, but definitely the more games you have in Greenwood Chevrolet Stadium, the better if you're Fitch.
Yeah, absolutely. We know you lose a guy with a broken ankle, but from a health standpoint, they got to rest a couple of those guys tonight. Will they be back for the playoffs?
We're looking like it too. Brian Robinson was getting some special teams plays. Jamel James actually took over as primary back in the second half. They were really listed as number 2 options, trying to just get him acclimated with the game and game speed again right before the playoffs. But I would assume you're getting Brian Robinson back on defense. We should see what DJ Williams is like health-wise after tonight. But if you have those 2 back options, hey, the biggest thing is Cam Smith, whether you want to debate or argue what he's like skill-wise to Deshaun Vaughn, he's there as a leader. I mean, he's a great leader and a great leader for this team. They all look up to him. Iowa State commit. And, I mean, he's the perfect guy leadership-wise to step into this position.
I know they put 59 up, but they did give up 28 tonight. Was it just Harding's athleticism maybe led to those 28 points?
It was Dallas Jet that led to a lot of those points. 21 of those 28 were thanks in part to the Jet himself. We call him the 747. Got himself 3 scores, the hat trick on the ground. But he set up a lot of those plays with his arm. And, I mean, that senior quarterback, it's going to be weird not seeing him in a Raider uniform. That's going to be one thing Warren Harding's going to want to replace going forward. But, I mean, he's been a great athlete. His service with the Raiders, he showcased it one more time in his final game in a Harding uniform.
Well, I'm sure TJ had to be happy. You get through the season 9-1, relatively healthy. I got to think that's one guy that's probably not going to bed tonight. He's already trying to figure out who they're playing, when they're playing. They know where they're going to play. It's just a matter of if it is Garfield Heights.
And you know as well as I do, Mike, that Hoban team is the team you're looking at in this region. They're the team to beat. And from what I know, they had a pretty interesting game with St. Ed's tonight. That's always a big one for the Knights as well.
Yeah, and they come away with a tough loss tonight, 41-20.
And you know, but those are the ones that can shake up those rankings too. And I can't wait to see what your guys' playoff picture is going to look like for all these teams.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, I think, though. But you take a look at that Division II region, it's tough. I mean, there is some pretty good teams in there.
Once you get up to these higher divisions, man, I mean, it's you hate to repeat yourself, but these are all good football teams. Once you get into D2, D1, I mean, your top 16, you're a solid football team. And I mean, you can't count out anyone. I don't care how low of a seed. We've seen a 16 seed upset a 1 seed last year, and that's all you need to know it's possible. So you got to keep yourself on your toes at all times.
Well, just to run them down, I mean, you know, you got Hoban, you got Painesville, Riverside, Hudson. I mean, that's the one team.
Hudson's always a great team.
Some team named Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary's. They might know a little bit about playing football. And then Nordonia, Walsh Jesuit, Barberton, Rhodes, Mayfield, Solon, John Hay, Garfield Heights, Maple Heights, Lakeside. I mean, you look at these. So
you're telling me the path to the playoffs goes through Cleveland and Akron if you're the Fitch Falcons.
Yeah, pretty much. But they took care of business. You get 9 wins in a season, and you've set yourself up that if you take care of business week 1 of number 11, you get to play at least one more game at home, and that's big.
And with the Falcon faithful, they've showed up and they've been loud and proud these last few weeks. And you know what? All the credit out to Coach Parker. He's really revitalized this program too after the tragic passing of Coach Anarella a few years ago. And this has been really nice to see for the Falcon community to get a team these last few years to really rally behind and support. 9-win season, a lot to be proud of in Austintown.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, man, we appreciate the call. I know you saw the bat signal early tonight, so I do appreciate it. I might see you next week. I might be down on the sidelines. Who knows where I'll be yet? We haven't decided.
You never know, Mike. It's always great talking to you, though, and nice talking to you tonight as well.
All right, thanks, man. We're going to jump from Ty and bring on in Ian O'Brien. Boy, you had a great game.
I did, yeah.
Gerard. That one goes right down to the wire, 35-33. Were you expecting – I was expecting a shootout. I just didn't know that it was going to be a 2-point difference.
Honestly, Mike, here's the thing about it, is that with Niles this season, I felt like it was hit or miss. But with Antoine Gardner, he looked to be healthy, fully back, rushed for 178 yards, had a big night over there. They just couldn't get the job done on defense when it mattered most because of Michael Palmer and that Gerard offense. I mean, they were just ecstatic all night long. It was back and forth. And tell you what, that Gerard offense is going to be tough to beat when the playoffs come around.
Yeah, you look at them moving in Division 4, though, that is not easy. West Branch appears to have already locked up the number 1 seed, and they play tomorrow night in a rivalry game against Salem. And if you're Salem, you definitely want to take care of business because a home game could be in the offing if they're able to pull the upset over their arch rival. But Poland, they lose tonight, they're probably going to have to go on the road. Jefferson got a win. They likely will get to host a game. Girard, with their win, should be in for a home game. And if they take care of business, all signs are pointing to Girard hosting 2 games in that postseason.
Yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see what happens. And I talked to Pat Pearson, and I was just surprised as he was because they've had so many injuries this year, Mike, and it's been unreal how they could still capitalize on a lot of these close games, a lot of these wins in the last second of just the whole season going to 7-3, especially with their quarterback Bengala out for the season. They were on Talone tonight too, their third string as well. So they're using a lot of these guys, and he looked sharp as well. Talone looked sharp. A couple passes maybe were a little bit of miss, but he had a strong arm, looked a lot more accurate than they did maybe the last couple of weeks. I'm interested to see what this Gerard team can do. And with Niles, they finished off their season, unfortunately, 2-8. But the question is, with Gardner and how healthy he was tonight, if he stayed healthy, what could have been? That's going to be the biggest question. What could have been for their season?
Well, and they were in a lot of games. They absolutely were in a lot of games. They just, for whatever reason this year, the Red Dragons just couldn't make that one extra play they needed to swing it into their favor. But you look at some things and, woulda, coulda, shoulda, those are always going to be there. But, in about 15 minutes, we're going to be starting to talk about these teams that took care of business, won the games they needed to, found a way to win some games maybe they shouldn't have. But I look at it, Girard, man, just quietly potentially finishing third in Division 4.
For sure.
There's a team, they've lost a couple games, but they have looked pretty good at times.
Mike, is it a hot take if I say this team might be right up to par with Mark Wade's 2018 team? Or is that maybe a little bit of a hot take right there?
It's a hot take. I'll give it to you, though. I mean, Marky Wade could put that ball anywhere he wanted, when he wanted. But I've watched this Girard offense now 9 of the 10 weeks, and I'm like, they're pretty special. They got the playbook dialed in. They know what to do, when to do it. And there's nothing like watching a high school football game at Arrowhead Stadium.
Definitely nothing like
loud.
It was.
So appreciate the call, man. Thanks for dropping in. We'll continue with the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard, and I might see you. I might be on the sideline of one of your games again.
I hope so, Mike. It's always good to work with you, and you're doing a great job over here with the scoreboard and everything.
All right. Thanks, buddy. So we move along. We're going to take our first time out here on the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard. We'll be back. We'll run down the scores once again, but then we're going to do a little playoff look ahead for you coming up on the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard.
Locally owned and operated, Sheely's relaxed shopping experience means browsing and lounging is always encouraged.
Find Flex Deal and more at Sheely's Furniture and Appliance, because the best things in life happen at home.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring golf instruction by PGA professionals, a state-of-the-art practice range, a PGA of America recognized pro shop, kids programs, and a relaxing grill room for a memorable golf experience. For more information or to schedule a tee time, visit millcreekmetroparks.org.
Fall is in the air. The kids are back to school, crowds are cheering for the home team, and Myers Family Insurance is prepped for another crazy Medicare season. Every year there's changes, some big, some small, so it's important to have a conversation to make sure your plan is going to meet your expectations for the coming year. Give our team a call today to schedule your annual review.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance or visit us on the web. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com.
Going from mindful to mindful sometimes requires a helping, healing hand. Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness offers a continuum of mental health and wellness care. At Insight, we're changing the way you receive counseling and wellness services with experienced licensed clinicians and expertly trained wellness staff. With 4 locations in Mahoning and Columbiana County, along with telehealth services, Insight offers clients quick access to care when they need it. Transform your mental health and wellness at Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness.
Welcome back to the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard. And one of the best games of the night, absolutely, was Beaver Local coming from behind to beat Wheeling Central Catholic 49-35. I sent a message to him earlier. Breathe, Michael, breathe. I just forgot to ease on him, that's all. Let's bring in Michael McKenzie. You had a great call there tonight, Mike. Wow, what a ball game. What a way. It was senior night for the Beavers on the field and senior night for our announcer up in the booth.
And I'll tell you what, this may be the first time after a senior night where the players and coaches aren't in tears, crying, all stuff. That was the most excited I've ever seen a team after a senior night. They were all high spirits, obviously, because that's a humongous win for the Beavers.
We were watching the game back here, Michael. They score, and it looked like the whole place deflated. It looked like the air was totally gone, and all of a sudden you get the kickoff. Take it back for a touchdown, and then an onside kick. Were you expecting an onside kick there?
They had tried the same kind of like pooch onside kick earlier in the game, and it didn't work. I didn't think they'd go back to it, but I kind of had the thought in the back of my mind. They might go back to it. They might try to pull something out considering Wheeling Central Catholic, like you said, just went down, scored a touchdown, kind of have some momentum offensively, try to steal a possession. That's something Coach McKenzie likes to do a lot. And obviously, that's exactly what he did right there. Worked to perfection.
What was it like in the stadium? Because I'm sure some fans were bailing and then running back in.
I don't think anybody necessarily bailed because a lot of people wanted to see the senior walk and everything afterwards. But, man, that place was at 35-21. I heard a couple people say when we went to commercial break, it's over. That's game. And then that place was absolutely rocking. Pastor Field is obviously one of the better atmospheres, at least in Beaver Local's area. But I don't think I've ever seen the place rocking as much as it was tonight. It was the most electric atmosphere for a high school game I've ever seen.
So it was 3 touchdowns. What was the time elapsed on it? I was figuring right around 2 minutes, 40 seconds.
I would say 2 minutes, 40 seconds sounds about right.
All the games you've called there.
Bang, bang, bang.
All the games you've called there. This has to be number one.
Oh, 100% number one. I think there's only one other game that would maybe compare to the excitement of that one, and it was a 13-12 overtime game a few years ago. Completely different type of game. That was easily the most exciting game I've ever witnessed at Pastor Field. And that may be the greatest fourth quarter of high school football I've ever seen in my entire life.
What did the coach say after the game?
I actually haven't gotten a chance to talk with him yet. He was on the field hanging out. It's a senior night and everything. So I try to stay away from him until he gets back home. So that's just me. I try to stay away from him until he gets back home.
What changed it for him? I mean, talk about, because they were down early and they battled to get back in that game. What a test of the resiliency tonight of the Beavers.
And I mean, that's what Coach McKenzie's probably going to tell me when we sit down and formally talk throughout the week before this upcoming playoff game on Friday. But he's talked about it all the time. He's loved his team's adversity, their ability to kind of fight through adversity, times like that, being down 35-21, going down 21-7 at one point. I mean, Beaver Local had to scratch and claw just to get down by one score going into halftime to get themselves in a good spot heading into the second half. And then that third quarter was really dull. A lot of penalties for both teams, killed drives, no scores. And then that fourth quarter, just everything kick-started for Beaver Local, really. It was almost like just everything clicking all at one time. It was really a perfect storm.
We were all pumped for you here. We were excited. We were listening to you. Like, you were amped up, man. So that was pretty cool.
I'll tell you what. You told me to breathe. I was about to say back, there is no time to breathe over at Beaver Local. There was no time to breathe over there.
Nah, it was great, man. And here's the cool thing. All signs point to another game at Pasteur Field. That's got to be cool.
Absolutely. And as long as they can handle business next week, if they can get another playoff win, which would be the second under Coach McKenzie since 2017, they'd get a second home playoff game at Pasteur Field. So could be a couple another great nights of football at Beaver Local. So can't wait for it.
I'm sure you would give anything to get 2 more shots to call games from there.
I would. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what is it? They got some momentum going. They early adversity this season, turned it around, and all of a sudden put W's together, stacked some W's, and just kept stacking them. What is it about this team that stands out moving forward?
I just think it's their ability to play together. This team, they're just one cohesive unit. And one thing, at least from, a schematic standpoint, this coaching staff felt like they had their players thinking a little too much, so they tried to simplify the game for them. And that has seemed to work. After that Salem game, 8 straight wins now. That's win tonight against Wheeling Catholic Central, simplifying the game from a football standpoint, but from a team standpoint, this is one cohesive unit, and you see it every time they step onto the field.
All right, man. Michael, I appreciate it. Love listening to you. Awesome call tonight. Let's have a few more. Let's keep it rolling for
absolutely.
the Beavers.
Absolutely.
Right,
got at least
appreciate
one more.
it.
Can't wait for it.
Enjoy, and I know your talk with your dad will be great tonight at some point.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, man. Thank you. Thanks for calling in. That's awesome. And you can just see it in his eyes. He hasn't talked to his dad yet, but he's going to be pumped to finally get to talk to him at some point tonight. Quinn's over here. He's trying to break down all the playoffs for us as we get things rolling along here. Run down the scores for you one more time. Canfield, they take care of business against Boardman. Finished 8-1 on the season, 35-6. Brookfield, they finished 9-1. Their only blemish back in week 1 to Youngstown Ursuline. The Warriors all over champion 42-7. Cheney, they finished the season with just one loss. They defeat East 34-0. It is Edgewood over Lakeside 32-28. It appears Edgewood has punched their ticket to the playoffs. Jefferson with a win over Lakeview 27-7. It appears the Falcons will also be heading to the playoffs. LeBray avoids a winless season. They go to Camel and win tonight convincingly 34-8. Lindsley, West Virginia over Louisville by the final 45-19. Columbiana knocks off Lisbon. Still appears Lisbon will be heading to the postseason 27-6. Middle Ridge, a winner over Waterloo 28-20. It is Newton Falls falling to Crestview by the final score of 20-0. Girard in a thriller over Niles 35-33. Wyndham beats North Baltimore 39-8. Struthers all over Poland 35-7. Springfield 6 straight wins to end the season. It also appears the Tigers not only will make the playoffs, but they should have a home game when the official pairings come out on Sunday, but they blank Sebring 55-0. South Range 28-0 over Hubbard. They finished the regular season perfect. 30 consecutive regular season wins for the Raiders. Southeast falls to Warren JFK 50-0. JFK only one loss this season. United gets blanked by Southern 14-0. Ursuline wins the parochial battle over Cardinal Mooney 13-7. Fitch all over Warren Harding by the final score 59-28. Weirton defeats East Liverpool 27-7. Wellsville all over Latonia 46-8. It is Western Reserve falling to Lowville 34-7. How about the Rockets? Perfect on the season, 10-0. First time since 2002, Lowville goes perfect in a season. Beaver Local 49-35, 8 straight wins for the Beavers. Garfield, they punched their ticket, no problem. 56-7 over Liberty. Jackson Milton over McDonald 20-7. Edison beats Indian Creek 28-7. Kirtland blanks Orange 42-0. Pie Valley over Matthews 24-14, and University School beats Howland 28-6. That's the rundown on those final scores from Week 10. We're going to take a quick timeout, but when we come back, Quinn and I are going to start to break down what appears to be your postseason matchups here on the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Flynn. Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience,
WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
Go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats. Go Dogs. Go Tigers.
Jimmy Sutton here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Winter, spring, summer, and fall. Mill Creek Metro Parks is your park for all seasons. Make a memory in the park. Plan your visit today at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Welcome back to the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard. Hey, we ain't done yet. We got lots of stuff to talk about here. Postseason in the forming, and we're going to bring in Richie Giuliano right now, who called the Canfield game, and Cardinals just being the Cardinals tonight. Richie taking care of business and getting everything done out there.
Yeah, they look pretty solid tonight, Mike. I'm not going to lie to you. Canfield pretty much had a shutout until that late fourth quarter where the second team was in. You know, this Cardinals defense continues to impress week in and week out. You know, it's a culmination of 4, 5, 6 guys on every single play. You really can't pinpoint one guy and say, you know, this guy makes up their defense. It's a combined effort, and that's what makes this team special. On any given night, anybody could beat you out there.
Well, I always know Pav's saying on defense, it's 11 halves of the ball. Find a way to get there. You might not be on the original hit, but you might be the guy that brings them down.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I know how he preaches that, but Brock Lowry looked good tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in command. He was dictating things, and it's a good tune-up game for what lies ahead for them.
He looked like a Big Ten quarterback tonight. Some of the balls he threw on the money. He dropped one in on the breadbasket of Jack Davis in the second quarter. A one-handed catch in the back of the end zone made by Gavin Raymond. You know, that ball had to be precise towards the back of the end zone with 2 defenders there for Boardman. So he made some really accurate and smart decisions tonight. He had a couple of touchdowns on the ground, 2 to start us off to make it 14-0. He had that touchdown through the air, and really that's all he needed to do, because by the time he got to the fourth quarter, you had the backup quarterback in. So like you said, this gears you up for playoffs. But, you know, I went into the locker room after the game, Mike, and there was a lot of upsets on the scoreboard in Division 3, Region 9. New Philadelphia beats Dover in overtime 21-20. Kenston beats Division 2 Mayfield. And, now you look at this region and say, this first round game is no joke. If you got the Kenston Bombers in week number 1, who have lost to a Painesville Riverside team and a Chardon, who are really good teams. So, it's no cakewalk in round number 1.
Well, it isn't. And tentatively, I know it's not official yet. Canfield should be playing Akron East.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
but they still haven't tallied up the points for Kenston and 4 other
so
schools.
it could switch.
Yeah.
But if they play Akron East, just for instance, their losses, Jackson, Dover, Lake, and Akron Bookville.
Yeah. I'm gonna come out and say it. This is the toughest division and region in all of high school football, I think, in the state of Ohio. On any given night, you could have your 16 seed beating the 1 seed, 15 could beat the 2. I mean, up and down, when you look at this region, I think I would put this region up against any in the state of Ohio for division number 3.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got Chardon, you got CVCA, typically pretty good. University schools in there. Cheney's played great. Ursuline's played great. I mean, there's not going to be a Friday night off during this postseason. You better be ready, because if you're not, your season is going to end real quick.
100%. I think there's 6 teams in that region that have a chance to actually win the state championship. I think if you get out of that region, of course, you got the best chance. There's one team lurking down in the Cincinnati area, Hamilton-Baden, who's been really impressive this year. They lost to Chardon in the state championship last year. So obviously there's a lot of talent across the state, but if you're able to get through this juggernaut, you got a good chance of, making your way to the state championship.
Well, it is. And I mean, you look, Villa Angela St. Joe's, they're sitting as a team that could be going on the road week 1.
Yeah.
Aurora's down there, Talmadge, New Philly, Gilmore Academy, Hawken. You look at these teams, they're perennially there every year. And I'm going, this is going to be murderer's row. This is going to be, it's going to be fun. And you want it to last as long as you can. Where I want it to get to is I want to see Canfield play Ursuline. I want to see another Canfield Cheney matchup if it comes to fruition. Those are matchups you want to see again. And, but Chardon's going to have something to, all these schools are going to have something to say about it. And that's what makes it fun.
100%. I mean, you're going to have a Cheney against Chardon, a Canfield against Ursuline in the regional semifinals. You really can't ask for much more than that. I mean, our YSN schools potentially have 3 punches to get to state. I mean, when you look at it, we got, 3 hands in the jar with Cheney, Ursuline, and Canfield that have the opportunity to get to that regional semifinal. And then one of them's got to get to the regional final. So, of course, everybody's circling Chardon. Chardon's that team to beat. They have been for the last 5 years. And, they got the target on their back. And I think somebody this year, I got a feeling, I think somebody's going to get them.
Yeah, I do too. And it might not be one of those 3 local schools you mentioned.
Why not?
You just don't know. And it was funny, Quinn and I were talking, and I think you'll feel like we did. Doesn't it feel like we were just here? We were getting ready. We were going, and then all of a sudden, hey, it's over. Now
it feels the same. It's 65 degrees outside. It feels nice. It's warm. Really haven't hit that playoff weather just yet, like we were talking about a couple weeks ago. But you're right. I mean, I remember week number 1 for Canfield when, they were gearing up when they played West Branch. And I'm like, could be one of the best games of the year. And it did. It panned out to be one of the best games of the year. But, West Branch feels like 4 weeks ago. Doesn't feel like 10.
And think about West Branch. They've run the table since week 1. And sitting in here, I remember we all talked about the Ursuline Brookfield game. That was one of the games we wanted to see. We wanted to see how it was going to break down. Yeah, Brookfield took their punch in the mouth that night, but for the next 9 weeks, they've delivered the punch.
Yes, they have.
And they haven't missed a beat. And, I'm excited, man. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's get to the postseason and rock this thing in, because it's going to be interesting. And I know you're ready. I know you're excited, and you're just not looking at Division 3. You're going to be like me. I'm going to be home studying all these things, figuring it out. First thing I do when I get up tomorrow morning, did they calculate the points? Are they final? Are they set? Where are they? But then I know they're not official until Sunday.
No, I've been looking already. I mean, our game ended. I looked immediately. I refreshed the page on Joe Idle. I'm saying, I'm looking up on Twitter. I saw New Philadelphia beating Dover. I saw Kenston beating Mayfield. And you know what? You immediately think our chances of playing Akron East diminish pretty quickly because, you needed one of those teams to lose and they didn't. So, now they have the chance to play Kenston. They could play 3 other teams in the mix. You just don't know until the points are put together. And that's what makes Week 10 special because it's rivalry week. Everybody knows that. Across the state, Week 10, it's rivalry week. And, you never know on any given night. We saw a Mooney team that, doesn't have the best record on paper, but they had a chance down the stretch to win that football game in the final 2 minutes. Now, give credit to Ursuline, their lineman, and Casey Lugers gets that pick to kind of seal the deal. But without that pick, if he bats it down, I think Mooney's got a really good chance to put that football in the end zone.
It is. And that's one of the games I can remember one year. I think it was Ursuline was really, really struggling, and Mooney was just it. And all of a sudden, Ursuline found a way to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like standing there like, wow, records don't mean anything when those two play.
Oh.
And that was like up in Girard tonight. The Niles-Girard game was fantastic, Richie.
That's what I heard, yeah.
35-33. Niles had some cracks, had the lead in the game. But those are the games that make it special, And that's why I love when the rivalry week, you either start with your rival or end with your rival.
Yep.
I don't like when you play, we're going to play them week 4.
Week 7.
Yeah. Like, week 7, like when Canfield Poland played, they were rivals and they would play week 10.
Yep.
That meant everything because several times it meant, and back then they were only taking 8 teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes they were fighting to be that 8th team. Winner was in, loser was out. So those are games that I remember, and they were exciting. And I can remember one night down in South Range, the Raiders had been great all year. Springfield walked in there and beat them on week 10. They went from being in to being out of the postseason real quick.
Yep.
So that's why I always think rivalry week should be week 10.
Is DJ here? Did I hear
I'm here. Yep.
Yeah. I wasn't letting the boss off the hook tonight. I told him he had to come talk.
I got a
playoffs
good
with
game
me.
tonight.
He did.
We're talking projections, right?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit. Quinn's working on them. You said it earlier, Rich. Whoever plays Mooney next week is going to have a problem.
They're going to have trouble.
What did you say? Edison, Mooney.
Yeah, I think, we talked about this, DJ, throughout the week, especially Wednesday. Edison hasn't played that team yet where, they've got knocked down on their backside, and we don't know how they're going to, get back up and defend themselves. And I think Mooney's that team that's going to do that. And how Edison responds, we don't know because, looking at their strength of schedule, obviously, they're going to be 10-0, but the 4 seed in that region for a reason because they just haven't played too many winning football teams this year. But, although Mooney has a losing record, I think that's a team that could hang with anybody in that region, including Garaway and South Range.
Listen, after watching them tonight, and I've been preaching it, and everybody kind of rolled their eyes at me when I said, watch out for Mooney because they haven't lost to more than a score to local teams. And after seeing them live and in person twice, Ashton O'Brien is a better quarterback than most people give him credit for. Just a junior. He had some big plays tonight. He's got a cannon. And they really didn't get Del Signor going until the second half. And when they did, they showed some weaknesses in that Ursuline secondary, at least tonight in game planning for number 1 for Cardinal Mooney. And I don't know. I think we're going to see what we wanted to see. We want to see Edison play somebody, and we think that Mooney's going to be a problem. So I think that's a perfect projection for us, especially from YSN standpoint.
I got to ask you this, DJ. I was only able to tune in the fourth quarter, kind of in the final 3 minutes. But, from what I've seen in person, Ursuline's had one of the best offensive productions all season long. What kind of things did Mooney do to hold that?
It was a sloppy game, dude. It was a sloppy game up front. There was so many different false starts and illegal procedure penalties. you can tell that it was a how do I put this? It was a rivalry game. You know what I mean? People just didn't care. You know, it was they were anxious, they were fun, they were excited. So yeah, Sean's with a great point.
Yeah, that's going back to our Division III region number 9 talk there. But, I think a lot of people are forgetting about the region that South Range is in. And some eyes open up tonight in Division 5 and Region 17 when you got a team like Cardinal Mooney who's going to sit middle of the pack, and they could pick off the top seeds in that region. So I think that's going to be more competitive than a lot of people thought. DJ and I have been talking that, South Range and Garaway, maybe Perry, only the 3 top dogs in that region that could kind of compete for it. But, I'm a little eye-open tonight after what Mooney was able to do to Ursuline.
Well, they've gotten progressively better as the season's gone along, and that's been the big key. They haven't even played their best game yet.
No.
That's what's scary. Now, all of a sudden, it's a different animal, and there's tradition. When those kids walk in that locker room on Saturday, on Sunday, on Monday, the expectation rises at Cardinal Mooney. You're expected to go win. It doesn't – they could be – somehow they could be the 18th seed and somehow they get in because 2 other teams aren't allowed to play or something, or they chose not to play. They would think that they had a chance to win. It's just the expectation.
Well, and especially the way that game ended. I don't know if you caught that. There should have been a timeout for the first down to at least move the chains with 1 second left. And Mooney tried to use their timeout anyway. And the referees just kind of said, we're done.
Yeah, we watched them walk off, and they were –
Did anybody see like the coaching staff chase them down?
They did. They were adamant that they should have got one more play.
Yeah, and they probably should have. Like from our perspective, we thought that there was 1 second on the clock. I looked over. There was 1 second with that first down, and I heard the Ursuline fans just erupt, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? And the clock expired, and the referees took off. It was a weird game. There were times where the chains weren't even up and going during the game because Ursuline's offense was so quick to the football.
Yeah.
And that's when the officials, and listen, I'm not an official, don't play one on TV, but the officials have to take charge of that game and slow it down. Because if your chains aren't ready, the markers are never going to be right.
Right.
And it's going to go badly for somebody.
So. Well, it is, because if you need a measurement all of a sudden, well, I wasn't quite set yet. I'm not sure where I should have been. And, it can go that way. Here's what's cool, guys. And I looked at this, been looking at it all night. Tentatively, fingers crossed, 33 teams that belong to the YSN family appear to have punched their ticket.
How many locals? We had 6 earlier this week. Do we know how many? No, Quinn says no.
No, he's over there
crunching numbers.
He is crunching numbers. I saw him take his shoes and socks off. He's counting with his toes and trying to get
the Canfield calculator.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, baby. That's how we do it.
Big Daddy's here. A-Row.
You got
through tonight.
Scoreboard show a few weeks ago, Mike, and I was trying to scarf down some Wendy's. I may have just broke a world record for fastest time ever eating a Burger King meal. Not wanting you guys to change the subject. I'm like, oh my God, they're talking about Ursuline. I wanted to eat so fast so I could get on here. But I mean, like you guys were saying earlier, I don't want to go too far back, but Mike, you and Richie were saying how, this is just the best time of the year. I go back to one of my favorite weekends ever was still 2020 when we went down to Zanesville for Springfield. I mean, that was just one of getting a bunch of guys that like football that know that this is the best time of the year in Northeast Ohio. I mean, these next 6 weeks, hopefully we're still calling games 6 weeks from now. This is just the best time of the year.
Are we going to take another trip down there? Are we going to do a group trip?
Hopefully a trip to Canton.
Well, that's not that far away. Zanesville felt like it was an arm.
Yeah. That was 3 hours.
I thought we were going to West Virginia when we were going to Zanesville.
There's a deer somewhere still out there scared to death of Steve Leslie's car.
Speaking of that, what happened in the Lindsley game tonight, DJ? Did you see it all? I couldn't find it.
All Lindsley over Louisville.
Yeah.
But did you guys see my boys from Orange stick it in there? It was only 28-0 whenever I checked in. I don't know what the final was, God bless the Lions, baby.
42-0.
That's a win. I'm counting it. They're 1-9.
Not only that, but there was a lot of games like Latonia. Rough season for them, right? They were not at a running clock at halftime tonight.
How about Columbiana?
They upend Lisbon.
We
beat Lisbon?
Yeah. Robo said it best. Next Friday, we have to open up with a moment of silence because all our dreams just died because Drew Pastor just ate our souls.
LeBray take Camel.
Yeah,
I just want you guys to know something. If you look at the picks, 2 guys I know picked LeBray.
Here we go.
We look like a bunch of idiots now after that power hour.
No, you know what's funny? I walked in and I looked at Quinn tonight and I says, I don't have my picks done yet. And he's just rifling them and I'm rifling them back. And I go, LeBray. And he goes, what? I go, LeBray, I'm telling you. He goes, I'm changing mine with yours.
That's dirty. Quinn just did us all dirty.
And
they're on the pasture train.
Back what you guys were saying about Division 3 Region 9. If that region chalks up and we have a regional semifinal, 2 matchups with Chardon Cheney and Canfield Ursuline. I mean, that's
a dream.
We got to have the Goodyear blimp flying over those games.
Well, and here's the thing. You guys ever watch I know you probably don't watch professional wrestling, but this is the best part of YSN now is we get to have like the YSN redraft because some guys' teams are dead.
Yeah.
And now we get to add like sideline reporters, people like that, statisticians, whatever it may be, to the broadcast. Romo, I know you had a good time tonight in the Friday Night Football 3-man crew.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you don't get too often. And I think, like you said, we get Mike out to these playoff games. Mike was braving the elements last year for Springfield when they were playing
in Ursuline
in the state semis at Euclid. That was still one of my most scary car drives home because it was a blizzard. Mike was down there on the sidelines in a snowstorm reporting for YSN. I mean, you guys know this is it. I hope someone right now, if any of our announcers are watching, someone better pick up Mooney because you're not going to regret it. Trust me. I know you guys were talking about it, and like you guys were saying, they always think they have a chance. Mike, you've been doing this long enough. You know the tradition there. And at Ursuline. I mean,
well, that's what I just said. Right before you joined us, I went like this. When Mooney walks into that locker room tomorrow, they know whether they've made it or not, okay? Mm-hmm. As soon as they walk in, that expectation went from, all right, we were kind of so-so, we got better. All of a sudden it is, you are expected to make it to the state title game now. That is no other option when you walk into that locker room. And that comes from Butchie. That comes from Fecco, to the coaching staff that's there now. Those expectations never change. When somebody says, and I'm going to steal this from Mike Tomlin, the standard is the standard. That is the standard at Cardinal Mooney. If they get to the postseason, they are going to believe that they have a shot to lift that trophy at the end of the year.
Okay, so right now it's looking like they don't have a final in for Liberty yet, but Liberty's sitting at the 16.
Yeah, they got smoked tonight.
Right. And Chagrin Falls,
I believe they lost.
They did, which
should put Liberty in,
and they play South Range.
Yeah.
But then you look at where Cardinal Mooney is right now is 13. So what's a 13 play?
They would play Edison.
They play Edison 4.
Oh, man.
And then here, let me look at the bracket real quick.
How would you like to be West Lafayette knowing you got to face the G-men?
Well, how do you like to be Ridgewood playing Garfield? I mean,
that's
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
But I look at that and I'm like going, oh, I don't know that I want to be the 8th seed right now facing Garrettsville.
And here's another thing too. If Mooney is able to get out of the first 2 rounds, South Range would be the opponent in the regional semi.
Well, and here's the other thing, guys, is I heard a little rumor. Remember how that Mooney ended up losing? I heard there was an overturning of that. There was an appeal, and it was overturned. So I don't know how the OHSA is going to handle that. If you got to go back and get that win back, and Mooney becomes, let's say, 5. Now this is speculation.
Yeah.
If they come 5-5, do they have enough? I don't think so to move over Harrison Central. I don't think.
I don't think so either.
So it doesn't matter.
I don't think
They're not going to gain a point from that East win.
They might gain 1 point, but I don't know.
Well, they need 1.2.
They might get it with that, but I doubt it.
And this is the fun part, I feel like, of our jobs, that right now we get to plan all this out. Imagine a regional semifinal weekend. Friday nights, we already talked about Division III, Region 9, and then you go to Saturday, and you could have a South Range against Mooney.
Wow.
Now watch. We could go to next week and have a whole bunch of craziness happen in the playoffs, and they just kill all our dreams. But this is the fun part of the job. You get to look at it right now. This is like March Madness when the brackets come out. This is basically what it's like here in Northeast Ohio.
They got Crestview at 15 in Division 6.
I said it kind of when I joined with Mike. If Canfield plays Kenston, and Roma, we talked before this.
Oh yeah,
that's a good football team. That's probably the worst 15 seed you could play. I mean, Kenston's a team that knocked Canfield out of the playoffs when they won the state championship back in 2018. Since then, the Cardinals got them once, but that's a team that's lost to Chardon and Paynesville. So,
and they put up good battles in those games.
Yeah, and that's a good football team. I don't know if I'm Canfield. I don't want to play Kenston round number 1.
You're definitely cut out for you.
No, who wants to play Kenston in the playoffs? Again, that's another one of those schools.
Can I just get excited for a minute?
Yeah.
Listen to this. Kirtland 1, Mogador 2. Cold-blooded, number 3, baby. Cold-blooded, number 3.
Wow.
Oh, Brookfield missed them barely.
Yep. And I think, what got it?
The divisor.
Another matchup that I would love to see in the playoffs would be JFK against Springfield in D7.
Ooh.
Or a Lowville Springfield rematch.
6 straight for the Tigers.
All right, let's take a look at D7 real quick.
I mean,
refresh this, see if there's anything changed.
We could sit here and be talking. We could be live until 5 a.m. talking.
There has. Springfield, weren't they 8 going into tonight? Here, wait.
They probably will be 8.
They were 8.
And now they're 7. So now they'll play Toronto, which is that's big because Lucas is 9.
I think they're still waiting, DJ, on the Matthews Pie Valley game.
Which Pie Valley won.
Yeah.
Pie Valley beat Matthews?
Yeah, Matthews lost tonight.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Springfield's locked in then.
Yeah.
10 matches right now.
And you got to remember now, Lisbon could fall because they got upset by Columbiana.
Okay. But where will they fall?
Maybe a spot.
Okay, so they go to 13. So we go flip between 12 and 13, which is Lisbon and Central Catholic.
Yeah. Oh, probably not, though. It all depends what Steubenville does. I don't know if they're going to gain a point on them.
They're still 3 and 6 right now.
Yeah.
So. And Wyndham looks like they're locked in at 14. I mean, it doesn't look like they're going. And they could, did they win tonight?
They won. They beat North Baltimore tonight handily. Now I don't know how that breaks down.
I mean, they're behind right now, 1/10 of a point behind Steubenville Central Catholic.
I might be a little late to the party, but how did Division 4 Region 13 shape out with Struthers? How high did they go? Because I was hearing that they could play Poland again next week, possibly.
Struthers is at 8 now.
Where's Poland?
And that's it.
Poland
is
at
10.
Who's 9?
9 is Salem.
Salem could jump.
Think about this. What if Salem beats West Range tomorrow?
Then they could jump Struthers and potentially, probably just Struthers. So they would be the 8 seed.
Yeah, they'll get a boatload of points for West Branch.
So wait a minute. Though, if Salem, oh no, because I was thinking of a way if Salem were to win, they'd probably get enough points. I was thinking, what if Salem went to 8 and they played West Branch again in the first round of playoffs?
Swiney chimes in, says Dalton 1, so Brookville will be the 5. Dalton will be the 4 in Region 21. Dalton.
Stupid. Who are you doubting?
Dalton Abbey.
So let's think about this. 13.
So
Canton
Brookfield will
South
play
could
the
play
12.
Hummer.
Oh, it could be Brookfield, Jackson, Milton.
Oh, baby.
First round.
Did they play this year?
That's
No.
No, they did not. Nope.
No.
Brookfield is scalding hot right now.
I have another question. I don't have my laptop by me. Did Fitch stay in the top 4 in Region 5?
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're in the
Performance
first
by
one.
them tonight.
Hoban, who lost
Well, St. V hasn't had their – oh, they lost 41-14. They got
To who?
– St. V got beat by Walsh Jesuit.
Welsh Jesus.
Walsh Jesus.
So Fitch definitely is ahead of them.
That team that's sitting 7th in that region. I know we know 3 is going to be loaded. If you're a fan of Division II football, that region,
yeah.
Wow.
That is stacked too. I mean, you got Hoban, Riverside, Hudson, and Fitch, and then St. V is your 5th.
Yeah.
Let's talk about D3 real quick, all right? Because you got Chardon, Canfield, Ursuline, Cheney, and then University School. Anybody know or can tell me who the only loss University School has?
I think it's SR.
South Range, baby.
That was what, week 2?
It was week 2.
They pounced them.
Pop their schedule up because they drilled them, didn't they?
42-14.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that close.
Like
isn't that the leap?
That was the top 10
That
play
was
of
the
the year.
flip.
That was the flip.
Yep.
Also, we might have had a play of the week in Canfield tonight.
The one-handed catch.
Yeah.
We need it.
Kid made a one-handed
Phenomenal.
NST Performance Plays of the Week coming out tomorrow.
And like Richie said, Kenston, Dover upset New Philly, right?
New Philly upset Dover in overtime.
Okay.
Louisville's done.
Yeah.
My guys are out.
Louisville's actually officially out after that loss. Yeah.
Imagine a week 2 playoffs matchup. St. V's coming to Fitch. I can already tell.
Can we stop playing Lindsley? Can we just make a pact right here? Like hands in the pile. Nobody plays Lindsley anymore.
All in.
I'm in.
Or who they play tonight? No.
They played
Thriller, huh?
21 points in like 2 minutes and 40 seconds in the fourth quarter.
McNuggies goes out on senior night a champion.
Yeah. And
right. They should have announced McNuggies.
They did.
They did.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
I saw it on Facebook.
They did.
I'm so proud. Like,
No way.
Can we give a couple minutes to McNuggies? Like, can I just tell you how this started?
Force him to call back in. He already called in once.
Did he
Let's
really?
make him call in again.
Call it.
He was excited.
So who was it by surprise?
What?
Yeah, they didn't tell him.
No,
they didn't tell
he
him to do it.
They didn't tell him. So McNuggies came to me as I want to say 13-year-old, 8th grader, right? And all he wants to do is be an announcer. And he's been doing this for 5 years. And he's been doing like unbelievable. And we had him on the show today. He came on. He's always been a good sport, and he's grown up before our very eyes. And I can't tell you how proud of him I am. Hard to believe he's a senior. Hard to believe it's gone this fast. But he talked about his dreams coming true, but in doing so, he's made our dreams come true, YSN's dreams come true, because we couldn't have done it without a guy like McNuggies. And I'm just so proud of him. I can't wait to see what life has in store for him. So not to get sentimental or emotional, but a kid that, guys, we all know how hard this is. This is a difficult thing to do. And at 13 years old, I mean, that takes more than guts.
Yeah, I was one night I was snooping through the deep dives of YSN's YouTube. Like one of the first videos on this page is like, it's McNuggies and you, DJ, doing a volleyball recap from the bleachers.
Mm-hmm. That's
awesome.
a deep dive.
Yeah, I was. Well,
you were tuna fishing.
Well, were you waiting for like a full-blown turkey dinner meal to be cooked for you? Because usually you devour what's ever in front of you.
No, man. I was sorting the from the oldest first. I literally, the bag's still sitting on the kitchen table. I didn't have enough time to go throw it away yet. Fall asleep on the couch. I ate so much.
It's been this has been the fastest 10 weeks of any season we've ever had.
Feeling that when they
blink of an eye.
It's hard to believe. It really is. And obviously we have one game left tomorrow, which is the big one, with West Branch and Salem. But people don't realize how much goes into it. Mike, I can't tell you how appreciative I am. You drive all the way from Butler every single week. And you don't leave here till 2 a.m. because we sit and we talk just like this until 2 a.m. And we talk about things that we can do better and things that we want to do. And, Richie and Romo, obviously, and Quinn, Ty is here in the flesh.
That's because he heard we had taco pizza.
Oh,
let's not kid ourselves.
He's here. But this is the fastest 10 weeks. And they say it goes fast. This was the fastest we've ever had.
Quinn and I said tonight when we first started Audible Call, I'm like, this felt like August walking in here. 65 degrees. It was warm. Tuesday morning, I'm booked. I got hats, gloves, scarves going, And tonight I'm like, I'll just wear the golf shirt. I'm good.
Did you even turn the heat on?
No.
Yeah, you just left it off.
Well,
with Scotty in here, it's radiating temperature off of Scotty Too Hotty's body.
Nah, Scotty walked in tonight and first he goes, it was a pleasure, man. He goes, can we do this again next year? I says, depends if DJ wants you back.
He's on a week-to-week contract.
Yeah. And Radar was cool. He was like, I said, Radar, there's certain games I need scores from tonight. And he blurted them all night for me. And he never missed a beat. And we had a few technical things go on here, but,
That's right.
We just kept the games rolling. Even though you couldn't hear us, you could see the games. And we just kept flipping and flipping and flipping. But, those guys, and it was weird, because they're used to getting games 1 through 4 on the sheet. I'm like, no, you guys are going to work from the bottom because I think there's a couple interesting games there.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, I kind of wanted to Canfield board meeting. I got that game's going to be a blowout. And they were like, no. I says, yes. Take some games that are interesting. And if those are bad, we'll adjust for you. And Radar ended up, he had the Girard game at the end. And he was just blurting out, Omaha. So.
Mikey Janaki chiming in. Thanks for a great regular season, guys, for all you do. Looking forward to a great game tomorrow and a great postseason. Dr. B told me to tell you hi, DJ. Hi, Dr. B. Westminster, shout out. I'm just going to give this to Mike because Mike, I'm blind right now.
You're blind. All right.
Romo came in, or else I would not have gotten one player on that Ursuline roster, right? I didn't have my glasses were in my car, completely forgot them. It's Gary and me.
It's because you had half of the Ursuline roster with a rip in the bottom right hand corner.
The Grace Leslie tear.
All right.
I'll say though, before we go into those scores, I really feel, guys, I think this is the year that we end the drought, the state title drought in the Valley.
Who you calling?
I mean, who can I look forward to, man? Or who am I calling to win it, or who am I?
Yeah, who you calling to win it?
Okay,
pick a team.
You can go by division. JFK, number 1 team in the state, D7. South Range, D5. Ursuline, Canfield, Cheney, D3.
You missed D6.
What's that?
You missed D6.
I think D6 can be very difficult.
Cold-blooded. Come on, baby. Get on the tray. Get on the ice chest and go cold-blooded with me.
I'm all in for Valley Christian, but
there's a big obstacle standing in the way.
Yeah. I'm not going to say the name because we've said it enough, but I think
I'm sick of that. I hope they lose. Here, I'm going to give
spray.
You D7 projections.
Okay.
JFK, they're going to be the top seed. All signs point to that. They're either going to play Fairport or Wellsville.
Wellsville
may sneak in.
Wow. That's even better when you're off the screen.
Yeah, you got to get on the screen. You haven't been on
they don't have it set up right.
They don't have
You're the boss.
2-camera setup.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to do new camera setup and get on there.
Anyhow, 8-9 could be Toronto Matthews.
Host guest,
maybe. And then how about 4? Southern local?
That's not right. Why is that?
Steubenville Central Catholic.
Cabinet.
Why are we on the pick? There's a caption.
Because that's when I move, the camera
Producer
moved
what?
with me.
What is it? He's producer, so I need producer and host.
That's Chinese
Producer,
technology
host.
we got working.
Your 5-12 matchup potentially Hillsdale Lisbon. On the
Okay.
other side of that bracket, your 2-15 Lowville Wyndham, 7-10 Springfield Lucas. If you get a win out of Lowville and Springfield week 1, guess who plays week 2?
Wow.
That'd be awesome.
That's going to be a really tough game for Springfield Lucas year in, year out as a perennial playoff.
Yeah.
And then you have Danville, South Central, St. Paul, Conotton Valley. So
I
the
will-
bottom half of that bracket I don't care about right now.
I will say this though. I mean, Lucas is 4-5 this year, and they're probably going to lose tonight to an 1 Arlington team.
Everybody see our awesome cabinet up in the corner?
That's only, I'm telling you, you know which camera that's on right now.
That's on the moving
When I
one.
moved, that's on the moving camera.
Well, everybody's got a clean shot at the bathroom, so I hope nobody goes in right now. We got peepo vision.
But that's 7, and that's potential. I mean, you look at that, like you have JFK. I don't think JFK's ever played Matthews ever.
I don't remember it.
I'm sitting on 34 years here, guys. It never happened during my tenure. So that one's crazy.
You're 6.
All right.
Has JFK played Springfield?
Has who?
Has JFK ever played Springfield?
That's a good question.
I think they may have met in the playoffs at one point.
Okay.
Possibly.
Has Springfield D7 before?
Maybe.
I don't remember.
Well, I don't think so because the 7th division only came into play not too long ago. I think
So
they
they
were
may not have played.
Well, they might have, but in the D6 level.
Yeah.
When they were both D6.
Yeah, there's a potential that I think, but don't hold me to that one.
Maybe-
Sometimes the memory goes bad as you get older.
Listen, Swiney's out there. I'm sure he's doing research and crunching numbers right now, finding stuff.
And then Lowville played JFK in the first round of the playoffs, 2020.
And gave them everything they could handle that year.
That game was at Liberty.
Malone's sophomore year, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
They're
2020, right?
intriguing.
I remember watching it over there. That game was nuts.
It was like 64-38 or something.
That was COVID year, right?
That was COVID year.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
else?
because you know what? We did the audible call
Mm-hmm.
up until because teams were still playing regular season games.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were allowed to play regular season games if they opted out of the postseason.
Yep. We had it on. I remember.
Remember in 2020 when Ursuline got snubbed of a regional when they were missing their quarterback, 3
It was
linemen,
COVID.
half their defense. Yeah. And Mentor Lake Catholic, who really wasn't even that good that year, came to Stanbaugh and beat them because they were missing everybody.
And then they went to the state title game, and they were playing right before Springfield.
Yeah.
Me, DJ, Steve, and Jamie, we watched Mentor lose on that field goal when we were walking in.
Okay, I'm going to throw one out at you.
And word or something.
A
Like
friend gave this to me.
Okay.
This is back when only 4 teams made the playoffs.
Okay.
1994, Springfield played JFK in the playoffs.
Whoa.
Different time.
Those two weren't even born yet, Mike.
No.
No, I wasn't born for another 8 years. I wasn't even a thought.
I was in 4th grade.
I've been married 2 years.
Oh, you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah,
I was cutting out.
Hey, I'm laughing, man. I'm still happily married. So we're good.
I was cutting out construction paper while JFK and Springfield were playing.
I'll tell you what, it's a game I mentioned, and this is weird, but luckily I remember this. Now, this is funny. That year, Springfield and South Range played week 10. Remember how I said it's always – that's the year they were both undefeated. Springfield's win got them in because they only took 4.
Yep.
South Range, 9-1, was on the outside looking in. And that was a good – if I remember right, Nathan Toy was the running back at South Range.
Now a coach at South Range.
Dan Yeagley, at that point, I believe, was still an assistant coach.
I can't remember the head coach. He tells me all the time. I can't remember the coach's
Here,
name.
wait. Now, this is weird. The coach at the time, and I can't remember his name, but he was a great guy. He never wore a South Range hat. He had a dirty old Nebraska hat on.
Oh, yeah?
Like this thing had been through the ringer. It had more sweat stains on it than Romo's ever seen in his life in anything.
I didn't know where you were going to go with that. I'm not going to lie to you.
No, I'm just saying it was a dirty, dirty hat. Todd Kohler was on that team.
Wow.
Like, I remember those guys. Here, wait. I'm getting text as we do this. Rich McClellan was the
Yes, Coach McClellan.
Coach McClellan. But and we talked to him all the time at FMJ. We'd go out there, and it was funny. All coaches always had their school hat on, not Rich. This dirty, beat-up old Nebraska hat every time we talked to him.
Incredible.
So,
all right, let's do some projections here. Let's start at 7. We got 6.
We did 7.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it again.
Do you want to do winners, losers? You want to pick? Kind of. I got 7 here.
Okay, so let's go 7, 6, 5. They're working on 4 right
6.
now. I got 5.
Okay. All right.
Just these are, and again, folks, these are all projections. Nothing's official until the OHSA says so. But we're trying to get you ready for what you're probably going to hear on Sunday from the OHSAA.
Yeah.
All right, Mikey, take us through D7.
All right. Top dog, Warren JFK. They're the top team in the state. They will either get Fairport or Wellsville. Okay. That's how it's projecting out. Your 8-9 seed, Toronto 8, Matthews 9. 4-13, Southern Local. They put together a pretty good season. They would start with Steubenville Central Catholic. Then your 5-12, Hillsdale. Lisbon would travel to Hillsdale week 1.
1 hour and 35 minutes away from Lisbon, by the way, if you were wondering.
Just a little bit of a hike. Flip to the other side of the bracket. Lowville's 2, they get Wyndham. Springfield 7, they get Lucas, who's 10. Danville 3, South Central 14. Norwalk St. Paul is 6. Conotton Valley 11. I'm not sure I want to be on that Lowville side of the bracket because that bottom half, St. Paul's there every year.
Yep.
They'll give everybody a good game. Danville, they'll give a good game. I mean, and like you guys talked earlier, Romo and Richie, that Lucas team, again, expectations are different once you get to the postseason.
I remember McDonald played them a few years in a row, and they just could not get by him. Those were like the real good McDonald teams in the mid-2010s. They just could not get by Lucas.
D6?
I got 6 here. Some school named Kirtland playing Pie Valley.
Underdog.
1-16.
Pie Valley with the upset.
They did it tonight, man. They did it tonight.
Hey, 16 beat a 1 last year. Somebody's got to do it, right?
Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah.
United at 8. Rootstown at 9.
That's a winnable game.
That's a win. That's a very winnable game.
Sigler's already got a tent set up there.
He is so ready.
Siggy is so ready for that. Dalton playing Trinity. And then your 5-12 would be Brookfield, Jackson Milton.
Yeah. I thought Jackson Milton had a pretty decent win tonight. Everybody was picking McDonald. I picked McDonald, and I kind of got stunned by that. I know DJ and Romo, you guys have the edge on me there because you guys picked the Blue Jays to beat them, and they did. So I was kind of surprised by that bounce back win that they had tonight. So good for them. Although they're 7-3, they get that 12 seed, like you said, Mike, and that'll be a pretty good first round matchup, I think.
Cressy's in, aren't they?
Well, we flip to the other side. I'm not sure Paul Cusick's going to like what he sees, but he's number 15. Number 2 there is Mogador.
But it's still like you're in a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if you're 16, you're Kirtland. So, like, you're in. Congratulations. But tell me another team with another leader that you'd want to see play Mogador or a Kirtland other than Paul Cusick and the Rebels.
And
Mogador's only played 8 games officially.
Yeah. And quite frankly, if you're Crestview, you want to play them in round 1.
What do you have to lose?
You've got nothing. You've got house money at this point. Go roll the dice. Pull everything out because the cool thing is if you beat Mogador, you could potentially have a second-round matchup with Mineral Ridge.
Oh, wow.
Mineral Ridge plays Canton Central. That's the 17th.
That's not an easy game either, though.
No, for either team.
Yeah,
I've seen Canton Central a few times. I've seen Canton Central look good, and I've seen Canton Central look bad this season.
Romo, are you looking for fireworks?
No, I came down here because there was a charger down here, and the charger's not down here, so now I got to go back upstairs. I'm giving you guys for my.
We appreciate it.
Did you leave the charger? Are you the one that left the charger in Trevor?
No, it's not mine. Okay. My mom went to New York City for the weekend. She took the charger that was downstairs. It's like in that area. So
cold-blooded.
Back upstairs.
Speaking of cold-blooded, they would be 3. Southeast.
The Hake Army, baby.
Yeah.
War Eagle.
And then to close out that bracket, Cuyahoga Heights at 6, Cardinal at 11.
Wait, Southeast got pumped tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got beat up.
Oh boy.
50-0.
And think about this: if you're Valley, you wanted to play tonight. You did
tomorrow. Yeah, you would have played tomorrow.
You wanted to play, but you get healthy now. Sometimes that's an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We got a call from Cold Blooded earlier. He's pretty fired up.
He probably wanted to play. I know him.
He's pretty fired up.
He wanted to play. He may have them scrimmaging tomorrow on the south side somewhere for 3 hours
against the WRTA.
He might. They might be pushing.
Everybody's
buses.
getting off the bus and Hake's lining them up with shoulder pads and helmets.
Yeah, it's crazy, but that's great matchups.
I love
that's in 7 and 6.
All right, let's go to D5. South Ranger 1 taking on Liberty, projected right now.
What's Niddle gonna do that night?
Mineral Ridge.
Probably talk over me like he does every night.
Here, wait. Mineral Ridge.
Doesn't
Mineral Ridge. Mineral Ridge. I'm telling you, they're the team.
Yeah, he's gonna pick Mineral Ridge in that game.
We love you, Gary.
He's gonna come back to the Cardinals once.
No. He left the Cardinals. He's done.
He's jumping ship.
He's gonna come back.
He's off the Pirates ship now. He's back into the Cardinals nest.
Richie, you know what Pav would say. Get out.
Oh, Pav would tell him.
Jump my ship.
Kick rocks. Kyle Wills and myself were talking to Pav after the game. Niddle's done now.
No givesies backsies.
He's done.
I gotta say, Niddle is undefeated as a South Range commentator. So he gets to stay.
Yeah, but so is the guys that did the 20 games prior during the regular season.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
You guys have never seen them lose to Kirtland.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them lose.
Yeah, we did.
Regular season?
Okay.
I haven't seen them lose
2019.
2018. Because I wasn't on the Poland game and I wasn't on the Niles game.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't called that game. You know, we called the Kirtland games. Those suck.
I'm good on the field. I'm perfect on the field. Yeah. When I went to the booth was the one bad one.
Guess what, Mikey? You're out. You're going if you're doing South Range, you're standing next to Coach Yates.
I'm on the field.
The next down, we're gonna have a Berkshire Garfield matchup, which I like. I think that's a good matchup for Garfield. And then we see Edison and Mooney, which I think there's a lot of intrigue of people on YSN that want to see this game. Norwayne and Harrison Central fill out the left side of the bracket. Then on the right side, you've got Garaway, who everybody's pointing to as South Range's biggest nemesis and looking to the regional finals already between those two. They will play Smithville. Conneaut will play Ridgewood. And remember, Conneaut's one of the YSN schools. So this game's going to be covered. Perry and Triway. And then finally, you've got Fairless and Orville. So T5 is pretty wild, and they're having some trouble with D4 with the projections right now. So
I'm going to say one thing. You know, since Conneaut just joined us, they potentially could be a 10-0 football team this season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Conneaut lost to Edgewood. No offense to Edgewood, but they're really not that great this year. I mean, they're going to end 5-5, and they had some tough losses. I think Conneaut looks back at that week 1 and says, you know, that's a game we just got to have. And, you know, they lost by 1. Their other losses to a team from Pennsylvania, who really nobody knows anything about.
I do. It's
Who
the
is
Northeast grape pickers.
Are they any good?
No, they stink. They're 2-7.
So you look at those two games. I don't know what happened in those two games, but
They couldn't even be cherry pickers. They had to be grape pickers.
They have 2 losses by 3
10-0.
points combined.
yeah, that's just unfortunate for Conneaut.
All right, so let's to your point, Richie. Though let's think about this for YSN and Coach Yeagley the other day during our coaches corner said something that was profound, not surprising. Is think about the percentage of teams in Ohio that are undefeated. How many do we have alone? YSN that we cover: South Range,
Edison,
Louisville,
Edison,
Conneaut. Right? Did you say Conneaut's undefeated?
They should be undefeated.
Oh, they should be undefeated. Okay, never mind. That blows my entire. Screw off, Richie.
They're 8-2. That was just the point I wanted to make, that they should be undefeated because they're having a good season.
They are. But there's 2 plays that change it.
Yeah.
Here's another team that could be undefeated. Garfield.
Yeah.
They are a late 2-point conversion away against JFK.
Well, wait a minute. They
What
lost to
about-
Brookfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got 2 losses.
2 losses.
What about Fitch? I
They're not
mean,
undefeated.
Fitch competed with Mass and Washington there.
Yeah, I mean,
They just couldn't stop the run that night.
No.
I got to give props to Louisville because I know we started talking about undefeated teams and we didn't say Louisville. So Louisville.
We have to. And they answered. They were in the ball game tonight.
They
for
beat
a quarter and a half.
Listen,
They were down 6-0 tonight.
We can sit there and say this team doesn't play this team. We don't think their schedules, but they beat everybody that was in front of them. And how can you take that away from these guys?
My thing is, any player on a football team doesn't dictate that schedule.
Agreed.
Your conference affiliation does. Yes, you do have some out-of-conference games, but that's your athletic director. They look at a couple things. And let's be honest, West Branch Canfield, week 1.
That was awesome.
It was a great game. But if you're the athletic director, boy, that was a win. You had a packed house right out the gate 3 weeks before school was even in.
Yep.
For Canfield. So
if you're just tuning in, the top right of our little quad box here is just nobody was there. It's just a random camera pointed towards our bathroom and cabinets.
well, it's our fouling cabinet. It's been chiming in with what it likes and expects in the postseason. So far, it has picked all upsets.
Get Quinn over there. Tell Quinn to stand up and
He doesn't like to talk.
They're crutching. That's why we couldn't get the camera on me.
Ty
Because
in there.
Quinn
Ty
didn't
will
want
fit in
anything
that
to do with
thing
it.
with how tall he is.
There's Quinn. He just spoke up.
He just coughed.
I
That
think
was
something
his
that's
way of saying, "Leave me alone."
I'm not too familiar with Edison or anything, but imagine that game for that program next week against Cardinal Mooney. I don't think those 2 teams have ever played before. I think it's safe to say.
Well, and that's the thing, Romo, is these teams don't know each other, but they both have unbelievable traditions of football.
Yeah.
At their schools. And this couldn't have worked out any better for us because we've been talking and people have been talking from Edison and saying, you guys don't understand how good this team is. And we've been talking about Mooney and saying this is the most underrated team on the schedule. And now they get to play each other. And now it's like 11 weeks culmination of this game. This might be my favorite game of the schedule thus far. I really think it is.
I'm excited to see it. I mean, that's and I'll tell you what, just sitting here right now, I know a lot of people are going to pick Mooney in that game next week. I just know it's going to happen. So if Edison takes down Mooney next week, I mean, that I'd imagine that has to be one of their biggest wins.
Swiney is chiming in saying Mayfield at Fitch week 11.
Mayfield's the team that Kenston beat tonight.
I
mean, they're not bad either.
I kind of wanted to see Cleveland Rhodes just because.
Oh, please.
I guess Richie did too. Richie did too.
That was a team that Fitch would
get pulverized.
What if they ducked him?
They just said, we're done.
Yeah, we're out, guys.
Hey, I got D4. I got
There you go.
D4. Now, this one's interesting. Again, none of this is official, folks, but 10 through 12 can all still move. Salem plays tomorrow, and they could possibly move up to 5 if they beat West Branch. But this is potentially where it sits right now. 1 would be West Branch, and they're already saying that that's locked up. Field is the 16th seed. If Salem loses tomorrow, potentially it's Struthers hosting Salem. It'd be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Be a really good game.
Woodridge, Buchtel. That's your 4-13. Then your 5-12. Canal, Fulton Northwest, Streetsboro. Flip the bracket. Number 2, Beaver Local, Coventry. Here's a great one. Your 7-10 would be Jefferson hosting Poland. Go back to week 9. Jefferson went to Poland and beat them 27-13. So you got that. Great local matchup. Flip to the bottom side of that second bracket, Gerard Hubbard, 3-14. So you got that, and then Canton South and Edgewood. How you like that bracket, fellas?
Who does the winner of the 3-14 play?
The winner of the 3-14 gets Canton South Edgewood. So it would take to the regional semis to potentially have Beaver Local, Jefferson Poland, Gerard Hubbard maybe get a matchup there.
Now,
I'm going to call it now. We're going to Niles if that happens.
I see your D4 and I raise you a D3. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I am ready.
All right. Chardon and Akron East in the 116. In the 8 and 9, it's Gilmore, the 8 seed, and Geneva, the 9 seed. Winner of those games to play each other. Cheney at the 4 spot will take on New Philly. Oh, man.
Didn't they play last year in the playoffs?
I think Cheney will take it to New Philadelphia.
I think they played 2 years ago, Mike. I think
Cheney is way too fast for New Philly. New Philly competed with Dover because they play the same style of football down there, ground and pound. Dover's used to that 5 wide, throw it around offense, but they changed it this year.
Keep in mind, it'll be at Rayen Stadium.
Yeah, I think Cheney takes care of that.
Yeah, pack the bags, New Philly.
I don't think that's a problem.
All right. University, you're can't see that. 6-12, I think. 5-12. 5-12. University and Kenston going head to head in that bottom bracket.
Thank God.
Canfield and Aurora. Going.
That is a matchup.
Aurora is legit.
Now, wait a minute. Get ready for what I'm going to tell you. Ready? CVCA and VASJ going head to head.
I'm going to say this. VASJ, their record is good, but I saw them play Ursuline, and it was bad.
So you could see CVCA and Canfield in the second round in week 12.
I mean,
Aurora, we know Aurora's no joke.
They're legit. They're losing to 10-0 teams and 9-1 teams.
Riverside, Barberton, and Highland.
Pack it up, Richie.
So, Richie.
Come on, Greeman.
Wow,
bring it down, Greeman.
All right. So then
half is going to be ready to go.
You go to that bottom half of the bracket. Ursuline's sitting there against Hawken. No idea who that is, be honest with you. And then you've got a team named Alliance at the 11 seed taking on the 6 seed, Talmadge. And there's a note here. There's a note here from Quinn that says Talmadge went from the number 15 seed at 6 o'clock tonight to the number 6 seed with a victory tonight.
Who'd they beat?
They beat Barberton. They beat Barberton, who's D2.
An hour ago. They shot up the charts, which is why Canfield now plays Aurora.
But I got Aurora as the 10. And
Aurora is the 15.
I got Hawken as the 15 right now on Idle. I guess we're gonna have to.
Wait on that one. That's why we're projecting, and we're not the OHSAA.
Yeah, I don't know. Hawkins 8-2, so that'd be a brutal 15 seed.
Rough, scruff McGruff.
Canfield Aurora. That would be a coach's corner that I could not wait to tune into to hear what Pav would have to say about a team like that.
Oh, yeah. You're getting it. Day, 7:00.
Are you guys going back to Coca's? Or are you doing?
We're going back.
All right.
We got to finish. 2 of the punters or the 2 of the kickers couldn't make it last week, so we're doing it again.
Wellsville's out in D7 officially. Well, not officially. Projected
tentatively.
So,
like that.
Great year for the Tigers.
Yeah.
Great year for the Tigers. Just missing.
Would you guys like to hear that Division II bracket now? This might be.
Just bring it.
Some school named Akron Hoban would be the number 1 seed.
Overrated.
They get 16 South. 8-9. Barberton hosting Garfield Heights. Your 4-13. Fitch Solon. Could be interesting. 5-12. St. Vincent St. Mary's hosting Mayfield.
Did they have somebody famous go to that school?
Mike Case.
Okay. That's exactly who I was thinking of.
Riverside, second seed.
They're really good.
Takes on Lakeside.
Oh,
Riverside is very, very good.
Dragons are going to get in, but they lost tonight.
Yeah,
they lost the heartbreaker. They were at the goal line when
they lost to Edgewood.
Yeah.
Battle of the Bridge.
Battle of the Bridge says Sam Torres.
As a young fella.
Riverside. 7-10. Nordonia will host Maple Heights. Bottom part of that bracket. Hudson 3, John Hay 14. Walsh Jesuit at 6th. Rhodes at 11.
John Hay, isn't that the team that Beaver Local just pumped?
Pumped them.
Nah. Good night.
Hey, goodbye.
You're gone.
I'm just telling you, I can't wait. And,
all right.
And that's the funny thing. Like Quinn and Ty are over here. They're crunching numbers, and people are going, well, I'm looking at Joe.
Wait a minute, Mikey.
Yes.
We might have closed the door on Wellsville too soon. Is Steubenville Central Catholic beats Toronto tomorrow? Wellsville is in. If Toronto wins, Wellsville is out.
Is Steubenville Central Catholic any good?
We're all rooting for Steubenville Central Catholic right now.
Doesn't matter if they're good. They just need a win.
Yes. Here, let me find it for you.
The Tigers.
3-6.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Uphill battle for the.
And that's the great thing. Like you're looking at this, like even what we just went over, it could change before Sunday.
Yeah.
Because here's the other thing. There's stuff behind the scenes. Like you said, Mooney may get that win back.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how that'll be approached.
There's a lot of moving parts on all that stuff.
There's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes. You know that some schools going, that school used an illegal player. And all of a sudden you could go from being a 5 to being out.
Cold.
Because you could lose 2 games. You know, it's happened before. And like, that's why I always say this is potentially great matchups, but it's not official until you see those brackets Sunday.
Yep. Until they get their invitation to the dance, man.
The golden tickets are delivered Sunday. We know who should be getting a lot of them.
We feel confident about this.
I'm confident.
We wouldn't come on here and just trying to pull your leg, but we're looking at Joe Idle, the Fantastic 50. I mean, Quinn is doing more math today than I've ever seen a human being do.
There is smoke coming out of his ears. Ty's back here. I mean, Ty rushed in here tonight. And when I said
He's out giddy.
Yeah, I put out the bat signal at 6:50 tonight. One you got to call. I didn't realize when he called he was driving here.
If Warrensville Heights beats Cleveland Central Catholic, Crestview is out. If Cleveland Central Catholic wins, Crestview's in.
Yeah.
Crestview's a 15.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Warrensville Heights.
Yeah. And I would probably bet that Warrensville Heights is probably going to win that game. Probably.
That means the Rebels would be out.
Yeah. That would suck.
Central Catholic.
We're projecting them in.
Yeah. My thing is, like, I want as many local teams as we can get in.
Well, yeah.
Because, one, I want the local matchups.
Yep.
Because it just, when you look down, anytime we've had local matchups, whether, and it was great because even when I first started, only 4 teams made it.
Yep.
And I can remember, like, we were somewhere, and I think it was Western Reserve went 10-0. They beat McDonald. McDonald was 9-1. McDonald still went to the playoffs because they had played a tougher schedule and got more points. And here's Western Reserve sitting at number 5 out. You know, like, you just sit there and you're like, how does this happen?
This is the stuff that I love. That kind of what Romo talked about earlier, that if you let everybody in, we don't have this. This is not fun.
Yeah.
It's just not fun. Like, even though there's 16 teams and everybody goes, well, you might as well let everybody. No. This is still like, you've got to win some games. Yeah. You got to play some people. And we're seeing that right now. And we talked about it earlier. That loss now, or I guess the lost game, when Liberty had COVID, when they played Crestview and they canceled the game, that can still come back and haunt Crestview, even though they got the win tonight.
Yeah. Because that divisor actually hurts them in this case.
I still don't. I mean, you guys talk about it all the time. I still don't understand it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not good enough at math to even think about that stuff.
I always know this, and people used to laugh at me and be like, "I don't understand. Over in Pennsylvania, the team lost three times." I says they finished second in their conference. They get to go to the playoffs. It's just the way it worked out, you know. But now I look at some of the way the playoffs are done in PA, and like, I honestly think most teams should have a winning record to get in, at least 500. Like, when you're putting in a 2-16 team, but if they beat a number 1 seed, boy, then it makes it fun. So it adds interest to it for me.
This is interesting. This commenter saying the Warrensville Heights is D4. How does that work? They're 0-9, and Crestview should be firmly in.
I'm guessing secondary points.
And that's exactly what Mike Swinehart says.
Yeah, here we go. Independence is a team behind Crestview. Independence beat Warrensville Heights. So he said Warrensville Heights has to win, right? Yes.
Yeah.
That would give them the secondary points enough to get past Crestview.
They're 0-9 though.
Because Crestview, they got Crestview at this 16 seed right now.
Yeah.
And Warrensville Heights is 0-9, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the secondary points. That's where it is.
But Cleveland Central Catholic's 0-9.
Oh, boy.
So it's 2 0-9 teams going at it. They could just cancel the game and let Crestview in.
Yeah.
I don't think that happened.
What if they do?
That would be nuts.
What if you get up tomorrow and all of a sudden, we don't want to play?
It's a little Bull Durham where they just wash the field.
Yeah.
They can't play.
Oh, man.
Or they go 27 overtimes and decide, you know what? A scoreless tie is what works.
See, all these Joe Idle standings are coming in now. He's starting to get every single game points racked up. So
let's go to find that 6.
So I mean, I'm gonna go back to what we were talking about. They got New Philly now as a 15.
Yes, so now Crestview's at 16. You say you nailed it.
Yeah,
because they were at 15 for us.
They're 15. See,
Southeast got pumped. How did they end up jumping them?
Because it's all secondary points.
They got pumped though tonight.
Yeah. Here, click their schedule.
Okay.
Southeast probably got points from Mogador. They probably got points from no, they didn't get points from Field. I don't know. Their schedule's not good.
And they got beat by 50.
Wyndham won tonight. Mogador won. Rootstown won. JFK. You know.
Well, JFK won because they beat the tar out of them.
They did, but think about it. Because JFK runs what they finished 9-1, 8-1.
8-1.
8-1. So they get all those secondary points from JFK.
Romo.
Richie.
Ursuline. They got Ursuline jumping Canfield.
Really?
Yeah. Ursuline is 2, Canfield at 3 with I'm guessing.
Our projections are done.
I'm guessing some big secondary points tonight from somebody.
Well, I'm guessing we got secondary from Fitch, but I mean, you're beating another D2 school.
Yeah, he's got Canfield right now behind Ursuline. They're battling for 2 and 3.
So, wow.
Which would be wild because at some point, at some point they're going to play each other either way.
That still doesn't change.
No, but it does change something. Instead of Canfield playing Kenston, they would play Hawken.
Yeah, they'd play somebody else.
Yeah.
You only get secondary points from teams that you defeated, so they had to be Wyndham for Southeast.
Ursuline's getting points from Brookfield, from Padua Franciscan, from Farrell, from Fitch, from Cheney, from VASJ, and from that's it.
So who's the 14 and 15 right now in that region?
15 New Philly, 14 Hawken.
We got people in East Palestine opening up our door and shouting it. I'm gonna have to get out old Lucille and start handling justice.
This ain't anything knowledgeable?
No.
At least it wasn't the guy. What's the score?
What's the score of the Bulldog game?
Where's Joe at?
He's probably walking around somewhere with his new Steelers jacket. Can we put a bow on this for tonight?
Yeah.
Think
we can.
We've been on for almost 2 hours for this.
You know what we should do?
What do you want to do?
I got an idea. You guys want to?
Oh, that's right. West Branch hasn't played yet for camp.
Yeah. How about Sunday when the dust settles? Why don't we call and do a show?
Why don't you join us? Because we're going to be in the Saxon Club on Sunday. Coaches are going to be there too.
I'll call in.
Come on, yeah.
If you give me a StreamYard, I'll pop in.
We'll pop you in.
Would love to.
I think that's at 4:00. Richie, you coming?
What? I missed
Saxon
that.
Club at 4:00. The Mahoning Valley Coaches Association playoff preview.
Browns game will be over by 2.
He doesn't like the Browns.
The real game isn't until 8:00 that night.
Wait, so what day is this?
Sunday.
At 4?
I think it's at 4. I'll double check.
Yeah, I'm going to the Cavs game.
Oh, okay. We'll enjoy the Cavs game.
Opener for DM. The
You're
legend.
taking my Tuesday and Thursday shifts this week, by the way.
I'll pay you.
Yeah, we'll do something on Sunday for sure. We got the Mahoning Valley Coaches Association. I think it's at 4, so we'll do like 4 to 6. I think we'll send you a StreamYard and you can join in.
Yeah, I'll join in.
Ask some questions to the coaches. You'll know a few of them, I'm sure.
I might.
But I think it's time to put a bow on this one since we're approaching the witching hour here on this Friday night. I want to thank Quinn and Ty, who've been working diligently over
They're
here.
still working. They're probably redoing papers.
Quinn's got 7 pens and pencils over there. Like he looks like he's taking the SATs. And Ty's looking up all the answers like he usually does. So
Yeah, he's right in his alley right now.
They just cheated on the SATs.
Mike, I want to say thank you for coming in. Audible Call is no easy task, and you do the Audible Call. You call in from time to time on our shows, and then of course you do the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard show, and you've gone above and beyond tonight. So thank you very much for everything you do.
No problem.
I
love this. You know I do.
A veteran, and you make everybody better. So thank you very much, Richie, Romo. I can always count on you guys. Thank you so much for popping on and being who you are, because YSN would not be who it is or what we are without you guys. So thank you very much.
Of course.
What are you giggling about now, Romo? You got the giggles now?
No. I'm just thinking about right now
the French fries in that
Ricky
pack.
not getting to call a game. Canfield against Ursuline. That's literally I don't think we've called a football game together.
Well, yeah. We called Ursuline St. V. Well, second half.
Really count.
Yeah. With Matt Marr in the booth.
Marr was up there stirring up a storm for his Irish.
Not the one that we like.
He might be watching right now. Matt,
he is.
Fitch is going to take down St. V. Second round. That's all I got to say.
On behalf of all of us here at YSN, thank you for tuning in all year long. We couldn't have done it without you. You are the most important part of YSN. So thank you very much. Mike, final words?
Hey, we're looking forward to it. 10 weeks are in the books, but now this is the part of the season I love. I get to be a homer if I want to be a homer. I get to root for teams that are local that play teams from other areas. When it's a local matchup, I'll be right down the middle of the road. But if it's not, I want every local team. My goal, I would love 6 championships.
Be awesome.
That would be just fantastic. So let's buckle up. Big game tie. Get ready. Quinn, you might have to talk and do a game here or there. Romo, I know you'll be great. Rich, you'll be great. DJ will be awesome. I'll see you on the sidelines during the postseason.
Hey, are we gonna have a reunion with you and Mike Pavlansky hugging after the game?
Absolutely. You know that's gonna happen. That is a friendship that goes way, way back.
We gotta have that. That was one of the most electric moments throughout that season.
Richie has it framed, actually.
My favorite part was when I told Richie I'd get him in halftime. He goes, no, I don't think so. And Niddle's like, not a chance. And I remember Pav's brother goes, he won't do it. And I says, yeah, he will. Mike, can I ask 2 questions? Absolutely, Mike.
I love it because they're both walking back to the locker room. They both have their hand over each other's shoulder, and like it's just amazing.
The moment that Richie Giuliano will never, ever forget.
Well, and it's the same thing with Yegley.
Oh, yeah.
People are like, walked out right before the game. I says, Coach, 2 questions as you go in the locker room. Absolutely. Where you want to meet? I'll meet you at the 40-yard line. And the reason I did it, he was able to DJ just zoomed the camera straight down on us, and it worked.
We'll be doing some interesting things this postseason. We're gonna try some new stuff. Not to get too crazy. We'll leave that for basketball season, but we're gonna try some new stuff and see how it goes. So, on behalf of all of us here at YSN, we hope you have a great weekend. Again, one more game tomorrow on the network. It's Salem. It's West Branch, and if tonight was any indication of rivalry week, you're not gonna want to miss that one. Good night from all of us here in Stream City, Ohio. God bless.